Leveled up. We're pink now.
Yeah.
Super Saiyan Rose.
Double jump. No, it's pronounced Super Saiyan Rose now.
Why does going Super Saiyan for some people make your hair pink? Why?
Because it's the soul of a god. It's complicated.
That and Goku Black is kind of a flowery asshole when he talks. So
that and the Goku Black arc just sucks in general. So.
Well, they made Goku Black this, smarmy intellectual because that's the opposite of what Goku is. So.
How did we do that? Break you up. That's how. Did you not see the big level up above your head?
Well, that was different. That was like a super boost power-up thing that happened there.
Oh, wow. There actually was a part of you that's like, I thought you were just being symbolic and crap, but no. There's a magic... Wait, hold on. If you can fly, then why don't you just fly up to the top? There. It's not that hard. Madeline, I ran all the way down to to find you. Thanks, pal.
I'm going back up now.
They really blurred the line between the dream and the reality with that whole exchange with the Aurora Borealis.
Yeah, so, like, it's, at some point you're supposed to ask, like, what's real and what's fake, because if you, after that sequence, you actually see that Madeline doesn't fall from where she was talking to with the other part of her. She's falling off the ledge where she and Theo were just talking, earlier.
That's another recurring theme with games that deal with these kind of things. The blurring of reality and dreaming. Silent Hill 2 does it, Hellblade really hammers it in, and
your GameCube memory card is now being deleted.
God. Okay, so that's actually something Bravely Second does too. They try to pull that same exact thing. And
well, I'm not talking about the fourth wall breaking crap. I kind of consider that a cop out.
That's true. Like, I mean, yeah, it kind of is actually.
I mean, trying to blur the line between what the character you're playing as would see as real and what's not.
Yeah, that's
so something more along the lines of PT, perhaps.
Well, PT is basically the same thing as Silent Hill, but well, yeah.
Well, yes, I'm just saying in a more pure gameplay sense.
Yeah, that's one thing. So the one example modernly, but.
Oh, the crow's there. Okay, because the crow is also pops up every now and again too, because that's symbolic of something, I'm sure.
Crows are scavengers, you know?
Yeah, but the crow's also what teaches you how to all the mechanics of the game early on too, is the thing. So
top of the mountain.
Yeah, so basically now you just climb the entire mountain all at once, pretty much. And this is intended to be more similar to the Pico 8 version. Because in that version, it's like tracking how far up the mountain you are every couple of screens. So it's basically trying to be a version of that, but all at once, if that makes sense. Because you start here in the level based off of level 6, and then you go to the levels 1 through 5, basically, and then the final section. Well,
I accidentally used my double dash.
Well, that's an anticlimactic way to end the game. There, it's just like, okay, I can finally do it. Oh, God damn it. I can finally do it. I can climb the and then Madeline died.
That's basically Attack on Titan level of tragedy right there. In fact, that's exactly what Attack on Titan pulls in the very first battle. Where there's like this big triumphant flying into battle, and then
they're finally going to fight the Titans, and then everyone dies.
And then suddenly a Titan jumps up and bites someone's legs off, and everything goes to shit from there.
Attack on Titan Season 1 was so good. Actually, the
2 is really good.
2 is really good. Okay, because I haven't watched it.
I'm not really fond of the whole suddenly Eren and Mikasa are together thing. I felt that kind of.
Wait, well, they are.
They're kind of not.
Wait, they are. They do
it's
that.
More that Eren's. It's more like Eren's like, okay, I'm recognizing that's how you feel, rather than being dense about it.
Wait.
Well, yeah, but no. That's another thing. The thing was, the original story, as I understand it, didn't have that niggle, and I think it kind of cheapens that particular character relationship to have it be something as ordinary as a romance, I should say.
Yeah, because I never saw, like, again, I've only seen Season 1 of the anime, I've never read any of the manga, but I never saw Mikasa and Eren as romantic. Like, I saw it as more complicated than that. Like, there might have been tinges of that to some extent, but
It's-
it was more that she was very protective of him because they were family, but not quite family. It was complicated, you know?
Yeah, so you'll just have to watch season 2 and see what we're talking about. It's hard to explain.
Okay. Do we ever find out what's in the basement?
Well,
We will in season 3.
Oh, damn it.
in any case,
Yeah, no, we do find out what's in the basement.
Oh,
So.
finally, thank God.
in any case, the point I was trying to make is more that the story, as I understand it from the manga, had more to do with Mikasa's motivation for being so protective of Eren being very personal to her and her past, rather than being focused on a romantic affection. And yeah, I think the romance angle just sort of shifts focus away from that and makes it less about her unique character. So that's my hang up there.
Yeah. Well, I'll need to watch it. Just basically, are the games any good or no?
They're okay, I hear. They're not like anything super fantastic, but they hit the feel of the show more or less.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. I had a fun time. It got a bit repetitive, but
Okay. There was a second one that came out.
The second one's yeah.
Oh, that's a shame.
It's one of those obvious anime show franchise tie-in games.
Yeah.
So
It's not there to be anything particularly good. It's there. Hey, now you can play the show.
does it do its own filler story, or is it just retelling parts from?
Kind of both.
Kind of both. Okay.
How both are we talking? Like Full Metal Alchemist, Curse of the Crimson Elixir, both, where it sort of starts off on the show and then
kind of
spirals off.
Kind of.
Broken Angel is still the best one in that series, even if it doesn't have as much going on in terms of gameplay. I don't know. I just like the original story they made for that.
Did you watch the Netflix Full Metal Alchemist?
It wasn't Netflix. It's not Netflix.
It's not? Oh, I thought it was.
No, the live action movie?
Yeah.
No, Netflix just has a distribution rights for it. They had nothing to do with it.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought it was like a Netflix series.
Netflix is going to be doing Sword Art Online, though.
Oh boy! But no, the live action FMA movie is very, very bad.
Would you rather watch that or the Netflix Death Note?
At least the Netflix Death Note is trying to do something slightly different sometimes.
Yeah,
the FMA movie is literally just taking story beats from the manga up to a certain point and live actioning them, to the detriment of lack of pace, character development, and honestly any good CG.
It's basically a live action highlight reel of fan service moments.
Yeah.
And
all done mostly poorly.
Yeah, and the Netflix Death Note is not good, but at least it's a movie. You know? At least it's is it a movie or a miniseries? At least it's a story.
It's a movie.
And at least it's, within its own confines, a functional story. So...
Well, and having Willem Dafoe as Ryuk was probably the only good casting you could possibly make for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the live-action FMA movie is garbage.
It's also unfortunate that the Death Note movie kind of turns light into the exact kind of character that the original author was deliberately trying to avoid.
Oh, is he basically just a pure good guy in that?
He's a whiny bitchy teen.
Oh, okay. Well, isn't that kind of what he's supposed to be to some extent?
No, he's supposed to be really, at least for the most part, morally upright, very smart, very capable.
He's a frickin' prodigy in the original story, and it works.
Which confirms the point that if you were to give someone a Death Note, would you want it to be someone like him?
Yeah, but it goes to crap anyway, though.
Yeah, it goes. Yeah. Well, he's got character flaws, and he wasn't able to deal with them as well as he expected he would be able to deal with them when he started out. But his character was very specifically that kind of genius, upstanding, perfect person. And it worked for Light Yagami in a way that it wouldn't work for a whole lot of other characters.
Meanwhile, the live-action Death Note Netflix thing is, I'm a whiny emo teen who has lots of all these social problems, and I just want to be cool and stuff.
Does he take a potato chip and eat it?
No, there's no potatoes.
They had one job.
Oh, this stage is annoying trying to get the heart for the record because you have to find 7 different crystals throughout the entirety of the stage in order to get it. So I think you can find them across different playthroughs, so you don't have to find them all in one go, but...
I believe so, but it's still really annoying.
Yeah, because you basically...
You have to try to find 7 different hearts at once.
This level... Okay, I know we've been talking about irrelevant Netflix bullshit over it so far, but this level looks, honestly, like a really nice end cap to the story.
Yeah, basically, because for one, you get to explore the mechanics in a new way, because you have 2 dashes now. So they bring back all the old gimmicks, so it's not like anything's forgotten. But you can do... holy crap, I never thought to do that. Oh my god.
Oh, there you go.
Nice timing, Ryan. That was a perfect example.
Yeah, and you know, yeah, I'm always kind of fond of these endgame, here's all of the old crap you already did kind of things, especially when it kind of feels like it's supposed to be a test of everything you've learned, as opposed to just, we ran out of time, so here's old stuff.
All the stuff again.
All the stuff again. You know, it's hard to toe that line, but when you do it well, it's nice.
It's that coming full circle moment in gameplay terms.
Yeah, bookending and
at least there's an actual story reason for it.
Yeah, because
you are actually going through the same areas again, just very quickly.
They also look different too a lot of the time, because many of these stages you were in at nighttime or different things. Like, for example, the stage 2 was in a dreamscape, and now you've got the sunrise happening. So it's different aesthetically too. The lighting's all different. The lighting, there's actually some kind, I don't know if you would call it a lighting engine or whatever. I don't know what the phrase is when you're using pixel art, but the way that this game handles light is gorgeous. For the record, I love it.
That's a spicy meatball.
Going back to the point about the game being really nice, about it being hard, tying in with the depression theming. What did we cover for that? I said I thought it was a good decision as far as not alienating a potentially large chunk of your player base.
Yeah.
Did any of us think to mention that it has to do also with not shaming someone for failing to overcome depression on their first try?
I believe we did that.
I talked about we talked about it just in the sense of, it's okay to leave a game behind for a little bit, but that does apply to depression as well. You are right, because you know, it can take years for people to even realize that they have a mental illness. So if you can't you see, that's actually really frustrating for when you're dealing with people who don't understand what's going on. It's just how are you still depressed? You see a therapist, or you're taking your meds. That means you're not depressed anymore, right? And that's really irritating, because that's not how it works. It's not like a broken leg where once you put a cast on it, it's better. It's no, this is something you deal with on an ongoing basis, potentially for the rest of your life. So yeah, don't if you're trying to be supportive to someone who has a mental illness, don't do that.
Bad days are going to happen.
Part of it, unfortunately, has to do with idiom, where we have, and you know, I've done this a few times too, I think we all have, where we use depressed as a synonym for just not happy.
Being sad that day, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately, there are days when people are going to experience being depressed, but it's not the same as depression. This is just an instance where the English language sucks, you know, put another ding on that counter.
Depressed verb versus depression, what
noun
part of speech is that? Noun, I suppose.
Yeah, because, saying that's, you can call, a certain book or movie or song or whatever depressing, but it's not oh, this is going to give me actual clinical depression. It's more oh, now I feel bad. It's, unfortunately, just a manner of, yeah, we don't have enough words. Oh my god, you actually knocked back the lanterns. when you
well,
go by
we have enough words, but it's also a matter of clunkiness. Some words just don't sound right.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say this movie is saddening. It sounds overly formal and silly when you say it that way, though.
Or if you're like me, you think, wait, that's actually a real word?
You can say upsetting, but then you just sound whiny.
Yeah, basically. We kind of have words that it's okay to say in certain situations and not in others. Because again,
we should be like German, where we just keep adding words, consonants on top of other words to make one really long word to do an abstract concept.
That sounds
basically
awful.
how we got to where we are, though.
No, but German is even worse about it.
Oh.
The longest word in like German is like 28 letters or something.
Ugh.
Jesus.
It's like absurdly stupid.
When are we all going to evolve past the confines of language and become telepathic creatures that can just send thoughts to each other that don't need to be put into archaic words? The answer is never. So,
If you can say supercalifragilisticexpialidocious 20 times fast, we might get there someday.
The sound of doing that is positively atrocious. Oops.
Damn it.
Bumped your head.
So
Oops.
it's really annoying in this stage when you miss a crystal, though, because again, this stage has a lot of points of no return. So if you miss one, you're kind of just a little screwed. Thankfully, once you know what to... Finding, I'd say, any one crystal is probably not as bad as some of the more obtuse hearts. It's more that you have to find all of them. Especially if you want to get the... I forget what it's called, but I think it's called, like, full clear or something.
Yeah, full clear is just abysmal in this level.
Yeah, full clear... I mean... I probably would rather do full clear than, like, golden strawberries, because...
Yeah,
you
agreed.
can die as many times as you want if you're going for full clears, but it would just be... You'd have to make sure you don't miss anything, and it probably would result in a really slow playthrough, because you're... Unless if you already know where everything is, you're trudging to make sure, did I forget something, did I forget something, did I forget something?
Well, the other thing about these kind of games is also that, well, it's not long. So you're not expected to get everything on your first playthrough.
Yeah, that's true, but again, I think it's a little bit deceptive because Ryan is not dying very much.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. It's sort of a modern gamer mindset versus an old school gamer mindset, but a lot of the extra unlockables and explorables and all of that stuff in shorter games was meant to be discovered across multiple playthroughs, and you're supposed to remember where this stuff was so that you could get all of it on a playthrough eventually, you know? Whereas nowadays we expect our games to be designed in such a way that you can, and probably will if you are explorative, get everything or most of everything on your first attempt.
That strawberry there is one of the worst in the game to get, for the record.
Yes, it is.
For the record. But yeah, you see, you're right about that, but unfortunately, a lot of the times I don't like, again, this is just you're right about it being a different mindset, because as someone who played games mostly in the late N64 to early GameCube era growing up, I wasn't really of the mindset that I would play entire games over and over again. Like, the closest I would get is, okay, I would replay certain stages of a game that I liked a lot. Like, for example, when I was playing Sonic Adventure 2 as a kid, I wasn't going through Hero Side, Dark Side, Last Story over and over again. I was loading up the level select and playing Final Rush 12 times in a row, basically.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it's that same sort of thing where when I beat a game, unless if I was doing... I would probably not do another playthrough even for my favorite games for months. Like, even games that I loved playing over and over again as a kid, like, say, Paper Mario, which I played an absurd number of times, I wouldn't play that game over and over, one after the other. Like, I would wait a while.
It's just like, in the case of a game like this one specifically, the way to go is probably not to insist on getting everything your first time through.
Yes.
But rather to try and play as naturally as you can. If you see something interesting, go for it. But if you find that it's too hard this time around, Just try to remember.
Yeah.
The issue is the full clear we brought up earlier being a thing.
Yeah,
though.
but that's not something you should do until, again, after you've mastered. Because Lewis is right, that is the best way to play the game. Don't insist on getting I don't think that you should insist on getting every strawberry before going to the next level. Like, I don't think that that's a particularly fun way to play the game, because then you're getting stuck on some of the really hard ones where you can just keep on going and see more of the game, which is the fun part for me. I went back and got every strawberry over time after I beat the full game, pretty much.
And I mean, it's up to the player as the one in control to decide their pace as far as that goes. But a lot of players will probably find that fatiguing to the point where it drags down the entire experience if they insist on getting everything, even if there are certain things that really, really, really give them trouble to the point where they're stuck in one room for an extended period of time, you know?
Yeah, that's true. And that's unfortunately, in a game like this, since you can go back to any level whenever you want, it's less of an issue than, say, an RPG where there are certain side quests that you can only do, like, for example, Xenoblade Chronicles. They will mark whatever side quests need to be done before a certain story point so you don't miss them. But then that's you thinking, oh god, I have to do these because I can't do them later. But if you do all those side quests, you're spending a good extra 20 hours in the early game areas doing stuff that's not necessarily interesting and that you normally would skip, and you're only doing it out of fear that you won't be able to do it later.
Yeah, the problem with that in Xenoblade's case is that they don't necessarily tell you how much time you have.
Yeah.
So you might be scrambling around trying to get it down now, thinking that it's going to be cut out really soon after it's introduced, but you probably have a solid 5 to 10 hours before that deadline hits.
Yeah, but like obviously they can't tell you why it's going to be gone, because you don't want to know if this character dies or they just leave to a different town later, you know. Although, if you see a town with a bunch of, like, almost everything there is time sensitive, hint, hint, something bad might be happening there. Who'da thunk? Wow. Okay.